So I go to work and he's home all day. And instead of looking for a new job or applying to jobs, whether he was or wasn't, I mean, I had no proof. I could just take his word for it. I had to, right? Why would a Christian lie? Anyways, so I'm sitting there and I'm reading email after email. From my periphery, I see him watching TV and eating. And I'm over here reading his correspondences with mysterious women. And I had had enough. After reading, I don't know how many, and, scrolling pictures after so many, I don't know. I stood up and I think I asked him about it. That night, was such a haze that I really cannot describe the details to you. I can only tell you the major points of what I can recall because it was so devastating to me. Okay, so I'm 7 months pregnant by now. We had not even hit our 1 year anniversary. I'm still a new bride. I'm working really hard. And I come home to find him just dallying on the internet, having emotional affairs, creating relationships with women he says he didn't meet. I will give him the benefit of the doubt. But at that point, at that very moment, I neither cared. That was where I was. Emotionally, I did not care. I didn't know how to, I was still sponging it in. I didn't know I could not articulate the feelings that were going on inside me. I became very upset. I know that I raised my voice. I know that I was aggressive about it in my tone, asking what this was. I asked him repeatedly for an explanation. And I raised my voice. That was the first time I ever raised my voice to him. And it was the first time I ever raised my voice, period. Because I know this is irrelevant, but as a singer, I am very careful about how I use my voice. And screaming and shouting isn't something that I would do to harm my vocal cords. But that night, I did not care about anything. I just wanted to understand what I was looking at. And he could not answer me. He could not look me in the eye and tell me what I was looking at. And I screamed and I shouted, and he said not a single thing. And, I ran from him and he chased. Keep in mind, I am 7 months pregnant. I am very pregnant. My belly is out to here. And as I'm going through this physical struggle, I am also conscientious that I have this baby in my belly that I didn't want to hurt. And I ran into the tiny bathroom because I did not want to be near him. I was completely disgusted. I was beside myself. I was so upset. I did not want to be near him. I did not want him to touch me. And I ran into the bathroom. It was so tiny that he pushed himself in and he dragged me out. I am not exaggerating. Okay, he pulled me by the arm and pulled me into the bedroom, and I am screaming no. I am screaming no and stop. And I did not want him to touch me. And in the dark of that 1 bedroom apartment, I was violated against my will. And just like the statistics say, your mind goes into a quiet place and you just pretend that it's not happening to you. And you just want it to be over and done with. And sure enough, it was done. And he left. He left the room. Not a single word was said. Not a single word. Not, I'm sorry. Not, I'm just messing around. Not, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Nothing. And I was left alone in the bedroom. And I couldn't tell you what I was thinking. I really couldn't. I wish that I could go back and sought someone to talk to about, but I didn't know any better. I'm, I was so stupid, so young and dumb. And the next morning, I woke up and I went to work. I blanked it completely out, and I went on to work because someone has to pay the bills. And I went home. I went to work. I came back home. We did not talk. We did not discuss the night before. We didn't say anything. And it was never talked about again for years until I divorced him. But I can't believe I did this, but I did. I put it away. You know, it's like what they say with trauma victims, right? We just kind of box it away and we don't think about it and we don't talk about it. And for me, I did that unknowingly. I did not know that. Over time, it disappeared. It disappeared. So I actually never thought about it again for a very, very long time. So that was the very great turning point. After that discovery, I lost all of my dreams. I lost all of my hopes in what our marriage could be. I lost myself. I lost so much. I lost everything. I lost the desire to be touched. I lost so much. I just can't describe it. But after that day, it just became, how do I endure this day? How do I make it go faster? How do I look at him without looking at him? How do I pretend it didn't happen? How do I, how do I don't know. I wanted to leave him, but I was very pregnant. If I showed up at my parents' doorstep, what were they going to say? We were already, involved with the church up there. What were people going to think? We were newlyweds. And so it just got buried under the expectations. It got buried under, I don't know. I just felt like I didn't have an outlet. I didn't have any way to vent or to share what had happened. And so I kept that event to myself for a very, very long time, for years actually. Yeah. And so I carried that. We never addressed it between us, and it became like the elephant between us. There was definitely a change in our dynamics, and I knew that for me, things would never going to be the same again. Whether he had seen, this woman or these women or not, it was irrelevant to me as a new bride, I was devastated. I could not come back to where I was. And it has nothing to do with unforgiveness. I'm going to say that right now. Um, but I will touch on forgiveness later. It has to come up eventually. And so that's what happened. Before the first year of our anniversary, we were basically already doomed. I'm just going to be dramatic and use that word. Because, within that first year, everything had gone completely 180 from what we had talked about, our expectations, my expectations. And that changed the course of our relationship. It changed the way we would speak to one another. It changed the way we looked at each other. And I think we both became very different. We were absolutely very different. So, I will touch upon that next video. Thank you for listening. I hope to see you back. Shinjiro. Bye.